Okay, this guy here, Luis Elizondo, I've been looking for this for a while. This is a clip you will not hear this guy saying anywhere else. Not on 60 Minutes, not on Tucker Carlson, not on CNN. This guy's made the rounds. Now, I've done some research on this guy, and it seems to be that he is an ex-Pentagon official. Now, by June 25th, the government's going to be releasing, by law, all the alleged information they have been allegedly withholding about UFOs. Now, in a nutshell, what this guy says here, which I had to search for because I had heard it before, this guy, this is the only truth you're ever going to hear this guy say, where he admits another Pentagon official higher than him tells him what this nonsense is. That they are demonic entities that are impersonating aliens. I'm not the only one that knows this. There's a bunch of people who know that no, there are no other worlds, and that our night sky has been grossly exaggerated. That we are taught that the lights in the sky are objects with ground and dirt that you can stand on, and we are taught that our own Earth is also just a light in the sky, that our sky that we look up at goes on forever, up, down, left, and right, and that we, the Earth, covered in oxygen and gas, are within an infinite and expanding vacuum called outer space, the infinite and expanding vacuum of a universe, which violates gas law, Boyle's law, the second law of thermodynamics and entropy. Now, before I play this, I'm going to just tell any scoffer here that thinks that a vacuum is inert. Do you remember those suction cups that would have decorations on them, and you'd use the suction cup, or like your grandmother would use it and press it against a glass window? When you press that rubber suction cup against the glass window, you are pushing out all the air. And it creates a vacuum inside that suction cup. That's why it's called a suction cup. When you put it against a window and you press all the air out of it, you create a vacuum, and then that suction cup affixes to the glass by the vacuum inside it. That one little, if I had one, I'd show you. I got a bottle that I used, that I created a vacuum, a plastic medicine bottle in one of my videos, and depressed most of the air out, all of it. I got to watch what I say, because people will come and, oh, you still have a pressurized system. No. You depress all the air, put it up against my skin, and the inner vacuum holds that plastic medicine bottle to my leg. It's because there's a vacuum inside it, and that's what is keeping it against my leg. I might show you. I might pause it and go get it and show you real quick what I'm talking about. But this guy here is going to say some truth. This is for educational purposes, YouTube. I'm not going to play all the video.
That had nothing to do. In fact, I had one, I remember the conversation very well. This is a person I respected tremendously, very, very senior person. He told me, he said, Lou, I want you to stop doing this. I said, okay, sir, I certainly can, but may I ask why? He says, well, we already know what it is. Now, at that moment, I honestly thought maybe it was our own technology. I was running up against some super uber secret sap, and they were telling me to stop. And I said, okay, sir, so it's ours? And he said, no, that's not what I'm saying. And he said, he asked me point blank, have you read your Bible lately? And I wasn't quite sure where he was going with that. And I said, well, sir, I think I know what it says, but where are you going with this? And he said, well, then you would know that these things are demonic, and we should not be pursuing them. Yeah.
He says we should not be pursuing them. Well, you got no choice, buddy, because they're pursuing you. Now, I'll show you what else he says, but what he said in a nutshell is one of his superior officers was telling him he shouldn't be doing this. Now, in my opinion, when evil is afoot, they gotta tell you, not point blank, but they got to leave it out there in case, for anyone who wants to do research or look into it. They have to provide it. They just can't straight lie. Okay. Now, this is the truth. There are no other worlds. The lights we look up at in the sky are just lights. They have no mass. They are transparent and semi-transparent bodies of light with no mass, electromagnetic in nature. You can zoom in on these things and you can see what appears to be currents of energy. And the only energy I know of that's real and demonstratable is electricity and magnetism by current and field, and the combination of both, electromagnetic. And that's what they look like. Okay, they are transparent and semi-transparent bodies of colorful light. Our stars and the alleged planets do demonstrate the same appearance. Some look a little more solider, but they're lights. You can tell they're a light, and that's what they are. The Earth is the only place where there is physical, three-dimensional terra firma, which is the ground, and that's what the Earth is, terra firma. Okay, the Earth is not in the sky that we look up at. Okay, the sky is not under our feet, it is above our heads. Okay, the North Pole star is where the Earth gets all its energy from. Electromagnetic, that's how the sun and the moon do their orbits above. And with the firmament, some people want to call it the ionosphere. I don't like that last word, sphere. Okay, but it could be because the firmament above our heads is most likely in the shape of a dome, so it's spherical. But the ground of the Earth is not. Okay, the Earth is 70% water, and water is very important because we ourselves are 70% water, just like the Earth. We can't make water, even though we are taught, we know that it is hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, we can't reproduce water. Okay, now water is very important because when we are conceived, we grow within water, and the first thing that happens when a new life is about to enter the world, the woman's water breaks, and that heralds in a new life. So water, when God says in Genesis that the Spirit of God hovered over the waters, it does not say he hovered in a vacuum. He hovered over the waters which were under heaven. Now, if you go by Genesis chapter 1, which I do, that was the only thing that was physical, three-dimensional, that was under heaven were the waters, the great deep. Okay, and these waters were not the waters of earth because the earth was without form and void, and darkness was across the face of the deep waters. Okay, now God separates these waters, this great body of water under heaven, with a firmament. Okay, a firmament barrier that he places within them, and he makes two bodies of water. The waters of earth consist of the waters under the firmament. When he separated the deep with the firmament, you have the waters here, that red line, and this cube here is heaven, and that red line are the waters under the heaven, under God's throne heaven. And then he took these waters, which were probably deep, and he came with a firmament, this knife, and stuck it in the middle. Now the waters above the firmament are what outer space is. It's water. And the waters below become the waters of earth. Okay, because he divided the waters. You understand? They're divided, they're separated. Some pastors want to say that the clouds of the sky are the waters above. No, they're not, because they're not separated. They rain on the earth. They have contact with the earth. They're not separated. They're not divided. Okay, that's the expanse. Okay, so the waters above the firmament, per Genesis, is what outer space is. Water. Now, I'm going to pause it and get to another part in this video where this guy's telling the truth. Okay, right here. Now, this other part I want you to hear.
Yeah, and he wasn't kidding. That's exactly how he felt.
So this is a Pentagon. This is a Department of Defense official saying, stop looking at UFOs because they're demonic.
Correct.
But if something demonic is flying over our skies, wouldn't religious people want to fight them?
Okay, yeah, this guy on the right he's what you call a professional idiot, okay? Because when you're in the flesh as we are, as humanity is, you cannot fight something spiritual. Okay, demons are spiritual entities. Okay, and the funny thing here is that certain people in our government who are in league with Satan. Okay, you remember when Satan tried to offer Yeshua, Jesus Christ, HaMashiach, the kingdoms of the world, and said that it is within his authority to grant these kingdoms to anyone he pleases. So he has authority to grant kingdoms. Satan does. Okay? And there are some people who have sold their soul to Satan for their position, for power, for money, for whatever it is they were pursuing. And they are in league with these demons. And there are some fools, I shouldn't call them fools because they're deceived, but they may have had contact with some of these demonic entities impersonating aliens, and they might be thoroughly convinced that these are jokers from other worlds, not knowing they are demonic entities. You see, I've thought about it. If they plop an alien on the stage, it would have to be convincing. If I seen it and it looked like me or another guy, I'd be like, this is ridiculous. This guy's claiming to be from the Pleiades or from the galaxy Andromeda, or who knows, from wherever outside of our alleged and fake solar system. It would have to look, because I've heard lots of them say that if there were aliens, they would have to favor an insect's appearance, because they dominate all the species of life on the earth, the insect world. Okay, so I could see these people with what the Germans were doing in World War II, which is on the record. They were committing atrocities against their prisoners of war, and they were mixing animal genome with human genome and creating abominations. I can't say that for sure, but that's what I believe is highly possible. You can't tell me. It comes out a little here and there with stem cell research, and them claiming that certain animals' DNA and this and that can help man. You can't tell me that there aren't scientists out there, of scientism especially, that have no problem morally mixing animal genome with human genome just to see what would happen. And the Germans were, a lot of them were certainly evil. I don't believe all Germans were evil during World War II. There were a lot of people just following orders and fighting on the field, on the battlefield. But a lot of these SS officers were evil at the concentration camps, and they weren't just making lampshades out of Jewish and other prisoners of war's skin. I seen one at auction. They were actually bidding on it. It looked terrible. But anyway, that's what they're doing. And these demonic entities can possess a human. They could possess an abomination made by man to come on the stage and impersonate an alien from other worlds that do not exist. Maybe that's where that David Icke, I can't stand him. He is predominantly a liar. Where this reptile nonsense comes from, because they've been mixing animal genome with those of humans and creating abominations for these demonic entities to possess and animate according to their will.
I think no matter what it is, we need to figure it out. And there was a time, and this is, look, I'm a religious person, but there was a time.
You see, if this guy was a religious person, he'd know the Bible. And the Bible says in the end times that there will be signs and great wonders in the heavens, which is the sky, that will make the hearts of men fail. And again, I can think of nothing more shocking than seeing a UFO spaceship in the air. Okay, a lot of this shit is going to be holograms, and the video they show will certainly be CGI animation, and others will be craft that is highly classified and highly advanced, made by man. Okay, we've got stuff that is highly classified, that is highly advanced. There's so much technology that they hide from us because it would break. The battery conglomerates, the oil industry would be destroyed if there was no more gasoline to put in your gas guzzler. So they keep this technology from us. Now, what I want to say real quick is if you Google how long man has been on the earth in present form, they will tell you 200,000 years. And if you're bored, you can look up the plane, the train, the steamboat, the telephone, the light bulb, the automobile were all invented from 1806 to 1936. The computer was invented in 1936. Okay, the steam train 1806. Then we have, the plane, I believe, in 1911 by the Wright brothers, and the car by Benz, Carl Benz, I think his name was. The light bulb by Edison. All these things, which is predominantly all the major inventions: the car, the train, the plane, the phone. The phone, I forgot to mention that. The telephone, I think around 1885 to 1890. All these things were invented in a 125-year time period. Okay, so you tell me, how could we have been on the earth for 200,000 years in present form, Homo sapien as they call us? Were we retarded for 198,800 years until 1806 when all these things started to be invented? No, if we would have been here 200,000 years per logic, independent logic that you can take back from having been systematically dumbed down by these liars of scientism, you can realize that if we would have been here 200,000 years, within the first 20,000 years of mankind being in present form, we would have invented that then, within the first 20,000 years. And that's a long time. I would even beg to differ that it would be in the first 5,000 years of man being on the earth. It did not take 198,000 years for us to finally get to 1806 and invent a steam engine, make a train and a steamboat, and then invent the light bulb and the telephone and the car and the airplane, and then by 1936 the computer? No. A true detective with any discernment, that having read the Bible even one time cover to cover, you can trace back technology to a true beginning. And I don't even think we've been here. I think we've been here maybe 8,000 or 9,000 years, maybe not even that. And that sounds crazy, yeah, because they got all this nonsense, carbon dating, radio, all this nonsense, okay? And they don't tell you how many times it's wrong. Out of 10 times, 6 times it was wrong. They don't tell you that. No negative result will ever be supplied to you because they won't get more funding on it. They got to be positive. They're liars. We're lied to about our history. I'm sorry, but we are grotesquely lied to about our history. There are structures in Europe and in America that I highly doubt we could reproduce. Okay? We are being set up. We are being prepped for an alien deception. These people want you to believe they were hiding UFO data and information since Roswell. That just disgusts me, because if you believe outer space is an infinite and expanding vacuum, light years, 6 trillion miles for 1 light year, that a UFO traversed all that way. Do you know how advanced a craft would have to be to travel that far through an infinite and expanding vacuum? And all the dangers to finally get to Earth, get in our atmosphere, and then crash? That is illogical and retarded and stupid, and I don't understand why people don't grasp that. They wouldn't have come trillions of miles in an advanced craft to then come here and crash in our puny atmosphere of oxygen and gas and whatever. That could not happen. It is illogical. Aliens are demonic entities, and that's what's coming. Okay, they're prepping us right now. They might not say it this month. They might release a whole lot of nonsense, but the hook, that's the hook. Then in July, then in August, these scumbags are going to be saying aliens are real, that they're coming here to save Earth from climate change or from an incoming asteroid. Don't believe it. Don't believe it, because there will be signs and great wonders that'll make the hearts of men fail. It's in the Bible. Read it. Find out the truth. These people are liars. And this, what he says here, you can put Louis Elizondo on YouTube or Google, and you'll get 1,000 videos where this guy's talking. And this is the only one where he says the truth. That a Department of Defense guy told him it's demonic, it's from the Bible. These things are demonic. Okay, there are no other worlds. And I've told you before, if aliens were real, they'd come here for one of two things: to help us or destroy us. They haven't destroyed us, and they haven't helped us, and they'd never let our government dictate what they could do, where they could appear, when or whatever. They wouldn't. They'd identify them because they would be superior in IQ, and they would know that our government's corrupt. They would never let them dictate anything. And what I know about outer space and vacuums, I know that outer space cannot be an infinite and expanding vacuum. The Earth would lose all its oxygen and gas, per demonstrable reality on the Earth. Okay, the lights above the Earth, the stars and the alleged planets, the planets are really wandering stars. Okay, they're just like stars, they're lights, and they're what the Bible says they're for. Times, years, seasons, and signs. That's it. There are no other worlds. Okay, keep your faith in Yeshua, Jesus Christ, HaMashiach. Read Matthew chapter 24 to get a quick overview of what the end times consist of and what we must endure through. But aliens are demonic entities, impersonating aliens. And that's just the bottom line.